That was sick. That was so basically that's how the Technoblade got trapped in prison with Dream. So that's very interesting to see. That is very that was very interesting to see. So I'm excited. I'm excited how it's gonna progress. But I did notice for a bit, it caused quite the conversation. I don't know why it caused quite the conversation. There was a whole discussion on Twitter I saw about lore and the type of lore that people like, the type of lore that people enjoy. And you know, what better way to dive into that topic while I'm playing Dream SMP? wait, is it Liz? Is it your birthday? Liz, talk a little bit about lore. Where do I start? First off, I think I gotta start and preface it with this. Thank you guys so much for how much love you guys show to all my lore and everything I do. I think in terms of how creative I get and how creative my job forces me to be, this is the most creative I've been probably ever. Interesting comments about people saying like, oh, you know what, I miss it more when like Dream SMP was like more like, you know, like lighthearted lore and all that. And it really got me thinking, like, not lighthearted, it's more like unplanned. It's more like unplanned. And it really got me thinking, you know, how far this whole concept of storytelling has come, to the point where people, you know, have certain preferences over how the story is told, whether it's with cinematics and like you know, cool music and like effects like that, or people prefer when it's more like improv based, you know, people just get on and do, you know, whatever. It's very interesting how the storytelling of this server has come to that point. And I love it. And the reason I love that kind of, you know, that kind of differences between the way people prefer lore is because it reminds me of like a TV network to an extent, you know? Let's say Cartoon Network has 10 different cartoons and everyone has a different preference for each cartoon, right? And of course, everyone is entitled to their opinion, how they enjoy seeing the lore, how they enjoy looking at it. And I think more than anything, that's a cool thing. I don't know how to make black concrete, by the way. Sand, is this andesite or gravel? I think that's andesite. That's what didn't work. My bad. But it really got me thinking. And I kind of want to, and given that, I want to give you guys a little more insight on how lore works and how lore is made. I can't speak for anyone else's lore. I can only really speak for mine because I know everything that goes into it and everything that it's made with. I'm gonna preface it by saying it's made with a lot of heart. I think that for me is the way a lot of passion, not heart. Okay, well, I don't know how to fucking make concrete. I'm fucking stupid apparently. Ink sac. What do I do with the ink sac? What the fuck do I do with the ink sac, chat? Oh, of course. Okay, well, it's just that's cool, George. That's do. You know, a lot of them do, like in real life movies, sometimes they do some scenes in improv, but generally speaking, they have a structure as to how this movie is gonna play out. And I like to think that I've changed my lore to a point where it feels like a movie. So I like structuring it in a way of a movie. So, oh my God, it's Callahan. Hi, Callahan. Hello, Callahan. So I love it. I really like it. A lot of people like to say, I think it's not common. It's not actually common. I think not a lot of people. Okay, Callahan, you want to, okay, that we're going to get, okay, Callahan. Well, Callahan, we're going to take that away from you. We're not going to let you use this. And okay, thank you so much, Callahan. Thank you, Callahan. Thank you. Thank you, Callahan. Is this the same kind of concrete that I'm using, by the way? You know, it's not made from like one day to another. So in times where the story will progress faster in the Dream SMP, I do want to warn you guys that not all the lore is going to be like this like cinematic thing. Like there's going to be times where I'm just going to stream it like a normal, you know, kind of like lore stream, or like, you know, like a normal lore stream, and just kind of do my thing when the story's progressing faster, because I can't make like a huge cinematic thing for every single, you know, thing that happens. But I want to talk more specifically about my last lore. My last lore stream with Foolish, Fundy, Purpled, and Slimesicle. That happened. Strawberry, thanks so much for the 100. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try and read. The donos when I get the chance. Thank you guys so much, though. But I want to talk about my last lore stream. My last lore stream means so much to me. So much to me. And let me tell you why. It's because the structure of it is so carefully planned out and thought out to a point where it needed to be the exact way I wanted to. The reason for this is because for the first time in my lore streams, it is my job to introduce new characters to you guys. These new characters being Foolish, Fundy, Slimesicle, and Purpled. And of course, you guys know who these streamers are. You guys know who they are. But their integration to the lore in general is just so important to me. So what I did was I went to each character and I actually read up the wiki and the backstory they have, and I spoke to each one of them. I said, what do you like? Like, what is your character like? Tell me, speak to me from the perspective of your character. You know, like, speak to me from the perspective of your character. Again, and repeating myself, is all these characters do have lore, do have prior lore. Their lore has been going on for a while. But the way I wanted to integrate, I wanted to make sure that their integration to Las Nevadas was good and worked for them and worked with prior lore that they had. Or if they didn't have lore, you know, they could start up a new kind of like character. And that's kind of what I did with it. So I spoke to each one of them and I wanted to know like what their characters like. I read up their wikis and what their history is with the Dream SMP and all. How do I add water, by the way, guys? What do you mean I have to add water? I'm not sure what that means. Do I have to like craft it with water? I gotta figure this out. Does that mean you want to plan? Because it was to an extent their introduction to the country and an introduction to a lot of the moving parts that goes on in Dream SMP. And that's what I wanted to do with the characters, and that's the way that I wanted to work with it, is to make sure that everyone had the story they wanted to tell. And I wanted to, you know, provide that tool of cinematography to tell the story they exactly wanted to tell. For example, Foolish, I spoke to Foolish about his character, and I'm gonna keep it vague because all this is like may come out in a future, I don't know, Foolish lore stream. But Foolish, you know, the whole city scene at the start where Foolish just like, you know, where Foolish essentially is like throwing a bow and suddenly this whole village is on fire. The way I wanted to do that, oh yeah, someone said cook the potatoes. But the way I wanted to do that is like, you know, sometimes those kinds of moments are difficult to do on a regular lore stream. You know, you really got to play with the camera angles, you got to play with the effects of it and everything. And that's what I really liked about that stream. A lot of people was like, oh, it was like, not a lot of people, but you know, some people were like, oh, it's like really planned. But that was the point of it. It was to plan it, because at the end of the day, being the introductory moment of it, it's good to plan it. You can't just wing it. And I think that goes back to something I've heard quite a bit. People are like, oh, you know, I miss a Dream SMP when everyone didn't like plan out stuff and like too much and stuff like that. And it's interesting. I think as a viewer, I'd probably look at it in a similar way. But the way it is right now is the Dream SMP story is so deep, so intricate, and so delicate because everything is documented. Every single part of the Dream SMP story is documented to the point where it's not easy to wing a stream. You know, let's say for instance, this is an example I was thinking about today. You cannot wing streams like you used to. You cannot like say, oh, I'm gonna jump in the server and do whatever the fuck I want, because there's so many moving parts now. Everything's documented. You gotta make sure that it's sticking to the main thing